Okay.
To introduce Sandra. Sandra. Алла. Подожди немножко, сейчас я ставлю вас. I'm happy to introduce today's speakers, Dr. Alexandre Laviglier and Simone Garbocher. I know that for many years now, Dr. Alexandre Laviglier, she's associate professor in social anthropology. I wanted today to introduce two speakers whom I know for a long time. It's Dr. Alexandre Laviglier and Simone Garbocher. As you could hear, they were speaking Evenki language, which is remarkable. She's actually a French woman. Alexandre Laviglier is associate professor in social anthropology, master in Arctic studies of Research Center CIAR, which is focusing on climate change and culture studies at the University of Versailles, San Quentin. Her research interests in Eastern Siberia over nomadism, hunting, reindeer herding, landscape management, representation of the interest in Eastern Siberia. She's also involved with the issues like natural environment, climate change among Evenki, Even, Nanai, and Yakut people. She's fluent in Evenki and also working in Even. She performed around 12 years of fieldwork. She has published on social organization, rituals, the uses of space and landscape, childhood, nomadic schools, ethnolinguistics, and many, many other indigenous subjects and themes. She also led and participated in the scientific projects like Dobes, Prisk, Parks, which is about the community-based monitoring and research and traditional knowledge. Alexandra has always had a special mission in her life. She wanted to see how the world is connected, and she likes to move all the way to the edge to find out. Already as a young woman, she set off for the Siberian wilderness for the first time. And since then, it has become many expeditions and books. She was not only in Siberia, but she was also researching in Kamchatka. And she did it from the native point of view. She learned how to speak native languages. She lived with the indigenous groups long enough to understand their cosmology. She lived and eat with them, and I think it's remarkable for the today's research ethics. I respect deeply Dr. Alexandre Laviglier, also because she involves the communities in her research all the way from the beginning, and she's also an anthropology activist. She works together with Simone Garbocher, who is an Evenki reindeer herder and hunter with 31 years of experience in the Amur region, and Yakutia also. Yakutia is the Russian Federation, you know that, right? You will see on the map when you will see the representation of the nomadic school, boarding school, Arctic. He's also a native bearer of the Evenki traditional knowledge and language. He has been an associate member, of the research center TIARC since 2012, and he's indigenous co-researcher in a dozen of scientific projects, like I have already mentioned when I talk about Alexandre's work, which is BRIS, Polaris, PARS, and many other. He's also a co-author of scientific papers and the book that was made recently and named Night in the Order of the Academic Parts. Okay, it's okay. The name of the book was Night in the Order of Academic Palms in 2018. Okay, then I will give the floor to Alexandre and Simone.
Hello everyone, Daraba Gerkil. Bom dia. Duslava. It's a pleasure. Mr. Garbocher is speaking in Evenki and says it's a great pleasure to meet you. So we will start, and if you have questions afterwards, we will start. So thank you, Alona, for this invitation. This is crucially important to talk about these topics in the frame of education. Can you see the screen? Yes? Yes? Okay. So we will talk about the co-construction of knowledge about climate change with indigenous societies. From my point of view of a social anthropologist, I started to get interested in climate change in 2006. But I must say that I start to understand something really when I started to work with indigenous peoples together to study the natural environment and the society. So transdisciplinary approaches, which includes traditional knowledge, really means a great progress in terms of knowing climate change. So nowadays we have 8 years experience of collective transdisciplinary observation of climate and environmental changes. So this is some pictures from the condition of research. This is just to give you an idea of our methodology and conditions of working. There is 6 observers writing diaries about their observation about climate change according to their indigenous knowledge, and also about, let's say, standard meteorological observation. We also document indigenous knowledge, which is called TEC, traditional ecological knowledge, which is a notion that is present in all international texts of OON, UNESCO, UNFCCC, etc. We also try to document indigenous concepts and co-analyze with indigenous nomads, reindeer herders and hunters, abnormal seasons, and also, of course, lead anthropological fieldwork. One of our methodology is to co-write papers, films, books together with indigenous co-researcher. What is a co-researcher? It's a reindeer herder, hunter, a villager, townspeople, indigenous one working together with scientists to highlight the richness of their knowledge about the environment and their observation. What we found is between 2013 and 2021 is that there is an even key understanding of norms and anomalies, but also more and more they notice different extreme events in the natural environment. And this is due to climate change, increasing climate change. About the Evenki traditional ecological knowledge, we identify it as an indigenous science. This is a very sophisticated system of knowledge, which contains a lot of know-how, hypothesizing, prediction, and sometimes even modeling. What we mean is, just like Western sciences, let's say academic sciences, indigenous knowledge question existing knowledge, perform experiments, produce new knowledge, takes measurements, form theoretical construction, uses specialized terminologies, and has a notion also of authorship, just as scientists, authorship of innovation, and they also have a science of weather and climate. We published a book which is in 3 languages, English, Evenki, and Russian, into which we highlight a part of our results where we show how Evenki knowledge system has typologies of topography, vegetal cover, clouds, precipitation, winds and air, snow, etc., and how they use it to analyze their surrounding. I mean here the snow anomalies, the environmental anomalies, the ice anomalies, and the landscape transformation. This book is available for free and can be downloadable from internet. It was one of our aim to share this knowledge, a decision made collectively with the community. This indigenous knowledge articulate these typologies of the environment to analyze norms and anomalies of past and present processes and make hypotheses for the future, which means they are fantastic tools and indispensable necessary tools for successful adaptation to the current modification of the environment. Here is an example of how Evenki hypothesize when they observe, for instance, a great anomaly of too warm winter. They observe a set of consequences in the present time to the different parts of the environment, like reindeer, ice, hunting, etc. And then they start to hypothesize about what can happen, what are the different options of what will happen in spring, summer, autumn, and so far. And as you can see, that can be norms and anomalies. So there is a great prediction modeling of the future, what will be, like science do. Okay, I need to go faster. Just an example of their Evenki physics of the snow and the condition needed for the transformation of one Evenki snow type to another. This is an example of how Evenki reindeer herders analyze themselves according to their own knowledge system, the snowpack, the snow cover, and what consequences they foresee. This is an illustration on how detailed, fine is their observation of the natural environment, and here interaction between snow types and the vegetal cover. Here you see lichen for the food of the reindeer. It means, I want to quote a sentence from an Evan reindeer herder from Kamchatka. He said, we all live in the same planet, we breathe the same air. Everyone, not only scientists and indigenous people, needs to understand the environmental cost of industrial development and the cost of climate change. We all live in the same planet. So this is why it's important to take into account the point of view, the knowledge and the observation, the kind observation, the fine observation, detailed observation of indigenous people about climate change. This table summarizes very shortly the different anomalies that our team of reindeer herders have observed, the anomalies, and you can see that it concerns absolutely almost all the domains of the natural environment. So we are talking not about climate changes, but about environmental changes. So this is why it's important to transmit these observations the quality of this knowledge to the young generation, be they in Europe or in Siberia, a thing that Mr. Garbocher does in different places. So I give the word to Mr. Garbocher. This is why it's important to transmit this knowledge to the students. I was very pleased, and it was a pleasure to transmit my knowledge to this young generation in Europe, in Russia, and in the school Arctica, as you can see here in the picture. I was very pleased to notice that they are very interested in our observation and knowledge. And that they are, thanks to the lectures, able to understand the richness of the environment, the sensitivity of it, the changes, and how we need, and the young generation also, to respect, to take care of the natural environment. So they need to understand that they need to understand how for instance, the bird is telling about the climate, how and it's important to know for them that, for instance, by observing the snow, we know which climate we will have in the next year. How the observation of the entire environment says a lot about the future. This is also important to understand that in some time the natural environment produces, for instance, fires for the good health of the entire environment itself. If the fire is produced by the nature itself, it is for the well-being of the natural environment. But most of the fires are produced by people's or human activities, and this is of course not for the well-being of the natural environment. This is very important to exchange with the students. And one of the key message I could transmit them is the greatest respect of the natural environment and the nature itself. This is one of the reasons why indigenous knowledge is important to share. And then more and more people can become more conscious of the reality of climate change. There is, unfortunately, we have few time, but I could tell a lot about that. But if you have questions, please do not hesitate. I wish you the best and thank you for invitation. So we are, this is just a picture of the what is to be what is to be reindeer herder in the forests. Yeah, thank you for your, if you have questions, please. And we are happy also to introduce the next speaker, if necessary. We know well the School Arctica, which is a fantastic school with fantastic students and fantastic educators, teachers. And I have a deep respect to the fantastic work you are doing, you pedagogues, working with children, with the future of the planet. Yeah, thank you. We also talked to them. We had the great chance to exchange with the students, but we need to stop. And thank you so much for this meeting. And thank you for creating this cool article.
Thank you, Alexandra and Simone. As you heard that Alexandra and Simone, they had a very good cooperation with the school, and they actually had many presentations there. And now Marina Rufova, правильно, да? Just a minute, sorry.
Здравствуйте. Разрешите приветствовать вас на русском языке. Приветствую всех участников замечательного круглого стола. Вас приветствует школа Арктика, город Нюрнберг. Хочу в первую очередь предоставить слово нашим детям.
Hello, dear participants of the conference. Warm greetings from Nuremberg, Sakhalin, Russia, School Arctic. So we are very glad to be the part of this wonderful conference and want to say some words about our school. Our school Arctic was opened in 1999 in Nuremberg for the representatives of the indigenous peoples of the north of our Sakha Republic. So, and since 1999, in our school study, the students for five nationalities: Yukabis, Dolgans, Event, and Chukchi. Yeah. So, and our school was opened for the students of these nationalities to study their language and their culture. So, and during these 23 years, the students, the graduates from our school studied at the universities of different cities of our Russia, and also in our graduate Alena Gerasimova studied at the Universal University, and now she works with our students also, and we are happy to be to participate in this conference. And our students want to greet you, the participants of this conference, in their native language. Dear conference, so Alena, in her event language, will greet you. Please. Daraba Medu Aya Kuduya Sundu Eche. Thank you. So Yana in her Yukadir native language will also to greet you. In his native Dolgan language greets you Andrei. So Andrei in his Chukchi language will also greet you. And his native Event language is greeting you, our graduate from this school year, Souzlov Gabrielle.
Здорово, Garbo, Iceland, Garbocher.
Warm greeting from the school Arctic. Thank you. So sit down, please. have prepared some presentation on the topic of this conference. Please, please turn on our video presentation, please. Can we hear and see us well? Alena? 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 Can you, so dear conference, can you hear and see us well?
Yes, we can see you very well and fantastic. Thank you for this fantastic presentation and thank you for your work and thank you to the youth to be here and to keep the language and the knowledge.
Yeah. Антонина, слышите, да?
Видео.
Слышно? Сейчас, are they going to? Yeah, the video. Yes. Сейчас видео будут играть.
Okay.
Apologies for the technical problems.
Our school study students, also the students from some regions of our Russian. For example, from Amur region, Krasnoyarsk region, and many. Sorry.
Am I to play a video or?
Yes, play the video.
Okay. No sound.
They could see it on the Zoom screen, but not on this screen. He has to pick sound when he picks the video. There's a sound button.
I don't know how.
significant contribution to our life. Good morning. My name is Trinkina Alona. I'm in 9th grade. My nationality is Evenk. I'm from Alokminsky district. My village is situated on the bank of the river Tiania and Chara. My family are hereditary fishermen. Also, I like to fish with my dad. My theme is the impact of climate change on the development of the fisheries of the indigenous people of the north. Fishing makes a significant contribution to our life. Fish require food for 3 billion people and at least 50% of animal proteins and minerals for 400 million people from the poorest countries. Climate change is changing several aspects of the fishing population: value, stability, and use. Local fishermen of the Alokminsky district are faced with such a problem as water warming. The body temperature of a fish depends on the temperature of the water. Water temperature affects the ability to dissolve oxygen. The higher, the worse. The temperature of the water is directly related to the temperature of the air. However, now we are facing global warming. So, because of the sharp warming, the fish cannot exist normally. One of the main threats is the change in the water regime of rivers. In recent years, spring floods have sharply increased. Floods have become more frequent. And the processes of coastal erosion have accelerated with a change in the water regime. The timing of the summer and autumn run of fish is violated, and the composition and abundance of fish change. Difficulties arise in connection with the decrease in water in the rivers, which are generic fishing grounds. The reason was thawing of permafrost. As a result, some miss the ice fishing period. Here it is also necessary to point out the increase in accident with fishermen due to late freeze up. Also, fishermen face the problem of fish living to a depth into the fairway due to stronger warming of shallow areas where nets were usually set. At the same time, standard nets are up to 3 meters deep, and fish often now go deeper than 5 meters. Because of this, the fishermen are left without a catch. Pollution of surface waters. Pollution of surface waters has increased both from floods and permafrost melting. Therefore, fish are often infected with zoonosis and other diseases. Fish are exposed to a higher level of infection due to the fact that all the accumulated toxins on the ground after floods and heavy rains into the river. In conclusion, my family is a hereditary fisherman. Came to the conclusion that climate change is making a big contribution to the destruction of the traditional industry, fishing. The solution to this problem can be adaptation and softening. Thank you for your attention.
Good day, dear participants of the scientific conference. My name is Gabrielle Souzlov. I am a student of the 11th grade of the Arctic School in the Sakha Republic. I am a then for nationality, was born in the family of hereditary reindeer herders. Our family has been herding reindeer for 300 years. The endless tundra, taiga, and forest regions are my homeland and the homeland of many indigenous peoples. You know, our indigenous peoples have large experience to survive in the extreme climatic conditions of the Arctic and have preserved their unity with nature. They developed unique ways of observing it and adapting to environment changes. I know ranger herding is a way of life for many peoples of the north. They consider reindeer husbandry to be the most vulnerable to climate changes. The main problem of reindeer husbandry is a reduction as degradation of pastures. They think the rapid spread of shrubby vegetation has become a real disaster for our tundra zone. It is now that they are trying to avoid shrubby thickets because their legs are damaged in them. They begin to bleed and hurt, and it negatively affects the safety of the herd. Another challenge is the increased waterlogging of tundra pastures. I think it is the result of the permafrost melting. They often get sick from spending a lot of time in the damp. In recent years, deeper snow cover create difficulties for deer when published harvesting yagle. Since ancient time, our indigenous peoples predicted the weather to choose a migration route, and now it is impossible to predict in advance the weather. Is unpredictable, and of course it increases the risk for survival. The situation is complicated by the change of the wind routes, the strength of the wind. To my opinion, the main challenge for ranger husbandry are reduction of pastures, acceleration of auto-bleachings, distraction, and increase in predate attacks, frequency of sudden temperature change, and the icing of pastures, untractability of the weight completing the chase of roots. Our famous Aven poet Andrei Vasilievich Krivoshabkin said, "As long as the deer is alive, the Aven is alive." The shoe reindeer husbandry is at risk of extinction because of abnormal climatic change. It is necessary to promote the preservation of indigenous people's traditional crafts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Thank you very much, Antonina and Marina and the School of Nomadic Children. It was very nice to know about the way they are providing the children with the skills, traditional knowledge, the language, and also the English. They are very good in that. Марина, спасибо большое за вашу презентацию. Это было очень интересно для нас узнать, чем вы занимаетесь, потому что многие здесь в аудитории, они, я думаю, что в первый раз слышали о таком виде образования. So I just said that thank you for the presentation. And if you have any questions, you are allowed to do it now. Сейчас вас будут спрашивать вопросы.
Подожди. If possible, we have question.
Somebody else wants a question, you can come on down.
Yeah, I just had a question for Alexandra and maybe the students as well. So there were a lot of words on snow typology and various forms and depth, and the vocabulary was so diverse. And has that changed over the years, that depending on, you know, how the climate has changed, has the vocabulary also changed? That's something that I wanted to check.
Thank you for this question. Yes, I guess you mean by terminology the words used by the indigenous peoples, right? And
we can't hear you, Alexandra.
Oh, I have sound. Can you hear me?
She's unmuted. Maybe it's our sound. Give us a minute. You may need to switch the speakers again, Stefan.
Can you hear us?
They can hear you on Zoom, but we can't hear you here, so we'll fix it on our end.
Okay.
It might have been when you shared the screen.
Не, он не это спрашивал, он спрашивал слова, которые вы употребляли. Вот эти все выйдут, новые термины появились.
Okay, we have it now.
Okay. Нет, умту, туренма.
Okay.
I would say that yes, the terms of degrees, before there was no expression of the Celsius degrees expression, like, oh, this is 35. They were just talking different words in Evenki, but now because of climate change and what the students said about the temperature jumps, abrupt changes in temperature, people get more interested in voicing how many Celsius degrees it is. So this is one change, but the terminology, the typology is the same and is a tool still now. Ah, yes. Есть еще умтуйман на апрельский снег. And there is also a new type of snow which appears about after temperature jumps, like one day minus 45 Celsius degrees, followed by a minus 10. And after that, you have a very specific fluffy snow, like little stars, very flat, very fluffy. And no climatologists, meteorologists, local meteorologists have not seen it before. I mean, dozens of years before. And they have no term in Evenki for this word. And they say in Russian, the snow of April, so there is different terms for that, which are in Russian. Despite, he said, this, in Evenki, we have many words for designating the different snow types and snowflakes. There is Chega. It appears normally in spring, when after the the first rains or after a temperature jump, important degrees. There is lebga, which is the first snow in autumn. We have many words for designating the snow types, but this new snow, we don't have word for that. So we use some description in Russian, sorry. Also about the different snowfall, we have different words. For instance, there is karagadirin, which means, how can I explain it in English? It's like kind of fog, so very little microscopic snow falling that giving a very roughly view. So this kind of fog, but just from snow. But the smallest snowflakes is songor in our language. It's usually you can see it in the morning. It's a little very small snowflakes falling during the night, and you can open it. And this snow is so small, snowflakes are so small that you cannot see it when it's falling. You can only see it when in the morning it's on the top, on the surface of the snow cover.
Вот почему важно, спасибо, что там выступаете, рад, что ты выступаете, ради него выступаете, но нас здорово,
This is why it's very important, he said, that the youth from the fishing family, from the school Arctica, and from the Evan, from the reindeer herding, has talked about their knowledge and their observation. This is very, very important to listen to them.
Тем не менее, мутто надо
and this is important to work together, indigenous people, because we have many observation and each observation is rich, and it's important to work together.
For further questions, right? Yeah, we're going to have this header.
Alona?
Да, Долденри, Мино? Долденри.
Simon, Simone had a question for the students of school Arctica.
Ну хорошо, давайте.
Если такая день, Мартин, такая тур, например, ученые, или мама, что я что хотя бы могут даже такая довольно сотрудничать.
He's asking if the students from the school Arctica, are they working with scientists? Would they co-write papers with scientists? And I will translate also for them if perhaps it's not necessary, but just in case. Дети школы Арктики спрашивают Семен, если вы работаете с учеными, если вы согласны ли вы работать с учеными, писать совместно статьи и так далее. Заинтересованы ли вы были бы сотрудничать?
Я думаю, только согласно обеими руками. Это было бы, конечно, очень интересно и познавательно. Спасибо большое за предложение и за вопрос. Дети наши будут рады.
Александра, переведешь, да?
Yes, they agree and thank for this proposition.
Again, I think it's a very good. Сейчас, значит, танец, да? По программе.
Sorry, okay. Dear participants of the conference, conference, our student Gabrielle present to you his native language. He is interested in throat singing and bass drum. This is the purpose for you, dear participants of the conference.
It's just showing that afterwards. Не слышно ничего. This is the way you have to do that, you know.
Еще долго где-то.
Again, Irish builder, Afghan builder.
So, and now our Gabrielle suggests you to perform his native dance, round dance. Its name is Hedge, right? So, right. Okay. So, first of all, please see at our students, and then we will do like our students do, with the movements and with the song. Okay? Do you agree?
Держаться обязательно надо, да?
Yes. Please take each other with their hands. So, like our students, please. You can like our students. So, take your hands together. It's the dance of. This is the dance of friendship, and we will share. With each other of the energy of positive, of kindness, of friendship. Okay. And with the shoulders, don't forget with the shoulders. Okay. Like our students. So begin, please. 1, 2. Energy of friendship, positive and kindness. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much also.
Thank you.
Do you feel this positive energy of our students?
Yes, yes, yes. عيش بالله.
Alexandra, what is you?
Ayat bidekal lugukal.
So, Alona, dear participants of the conference,
Что я? Созвонимся, да?
thank you so much. Да.
Okay, this is it. It was
Can
fun.
you feel the energy of our students? Dear participants, can you feel the energy of our students, the energy of friendship, of positive and kindness from our students, from the Sakha Republic of Russia to Ireland, to the participants of this conference?
Спасибо большое.
Thank you.